get your bullet journal because today we are going to be planning out February. I'm a simple gal. I'm a simple person and I use simple supplies for my journal. So because of that, I will be using 2 pens for this plan with me, a fine liner and a calligraphy brush pen, both of which I will be linking in the description in case you want to know specifics. I also figured this would be a great time to introduce my style of bullet journaling, which I consider very minimal, very intentional, and very functional. Some people might be looking at this and say, hey, how is it functional if you have drawings? And I would say, hey, it's completely functional because my goal for 2020 is to draw more florals and master floral illustration. So my way of practicing daily is by incorporating this into my bullet journal. I'm also showing you here my January spreads. I actually did include color in this habit tracker, which I'm thinking of removing in February because I would not fill out my habit tracker because I couldn't find my marker to fill it in with, and that to me did not seem like the most effective way to do things, if you know what I mean. We are getting started with our February spread by doing the monthly layout, which for me consists of a calendar, a task list, and a notes page. I like to split my monthly page into 4 spreads, so 2 sets of 2 pages. Right now you're seeing me set up my calendar, which is very similar to the OG bullet journal vertical style calendar. Essentially you write the days of the month down the side of the page along with the days of the week beside them. I kind of finesse this and make it a little bit more extra by adding a second vertical calendar on the right side of the page. This is really great if you have a lot of things going on, or you have one thing going on in the month that you want to track separately but still kind of see it with all of your other dates, if that makes sense. So last month I actually put birthdays on the right side of the vertical calendar, but this month I'm actually going to use it to track NHL hockey games so I can know when the Leafs are playing. In order to make my month apparent to me in case I forget, I decide to letter it in my classic calligraphy with my brush pen. Now I actually prefer the soft tip Tombow Funosuke brush pen, and this isn't really due to choice. My hard tip actually stopped working and became faulty, so I decided to use the soft tip since I didn't want to go and buy another one. And you know what, I actually really like the soft tip, so I definitely would recommend these brush pens. Okay, maybe not the hard tip, but definitely the soft tip because that one works really well for me. Now I'm getting a little more extra and drawing in this floral illustration. As I mentioned, one of my goals for 2020 is to get much better at drawing florals, as I'm not really an artist and don't really know how to draw florals for the most part. I mostly stay in the calligraphy lane, but I thought it might be nice to kind of push our boundaries and diversify this year. I like to follow the artist and YouTuber Shada Campbell. She has so many good botanical illustration tutorials. If you want to learn how to draw botanicals, you have to check her out because she is the bee's knees, let me tell you. Going back to this illustration, it definitely was a little extra this month, I'm not gonna lie. Was it a little much? Yes. Did it freak me out a bit at first? Absolutely. Are we gonna maybe not go as far out next month? Absolutely, but you know what, for this month we are working with it. I actually also set up a completely new monthly setup where I went a bit more minimal in case this would have overwhelmed me, if that makes sense. I have a very anxious mind, and sometimes if there's a lot going on a page in terms of decoration, it just overwhelms me, and then I have information on the page and then that overwhelms me, and then I just can't get any work done because I'm just really stressed out. So, good news, I've started filling in the spread with information and it has not stressed me out. I will actually be posting a second plan with me that's slightly more minimal, and if you guys are interested in seeing that, it should be out in a couple of weeks. I also just defined the weeks within the month by kind of separating them with a little line because I find that is very helpful. You gotta know what week is what. That is the point of the bullet journal, to know like what day it is. Now I'm doing the second half of my monthly spread. This is my task list and my notes page. I use my task list to write down tasks I want to do during the month. These are usually more general tasks that don't fall on a specific day, or maybe they fall into a week that I haven't created yet. So I like to write down the task and say maybe due on February 18th, so I remember on February 18th to write it down. I also like to use this section to write down my due dates. As a student, I find it really boosts morale by having a list of your due dates, and as you complete your assignments, you check it off. And then by the end of the month, everything's checked off and it's so wonderful. And you're like, yes, 13 assignments done, like 72 to go. But you know what? You got that 13 done. So that's 13 less to worry about. I actually really love as well how this spread turned out. For me, this is a bit more on par with my ratio of decoration to white space, but you know what? Again, we will learn for next month and kind of make improvements and changes as we go. That's the thing with bullet journaling. You don't have to just get it right the first month and then continue that way. Part of bullet journaling is the evolution and adaptability of the system. So don't feel bad if something isn't working for you. You can always literally turn the page, make a new spread, and change it, or work with it for that month and then think about making adjustments in the following month. Speaking of adjustments, I am now doing my habit tracker for February. I actually decided to use the same structure of habit tracker. This spread is very heavily inspired from Shade Campbell. It's very similar to her spread, which is in her February 2019 plan with me. I will link that below so you can check that out. I really love how simple this spread is, and the only thing I'll be changing about this spread is the way that I record my habits. So last month, I would color the dot of the habit that I completed. But as I kind of mentioned earlier, I wouldn't be able to find the marker in the morning. I'd be half asleep and then I just kind of not track my habit for the day, and then that kind of defeats the purpose of habit tracking. So this time, my plan is, instead of having every dot marking the day of the month and then highlighting it with a color, instead I will leave the space blank and mark the days of the month when I complete the habit with a dot. In a way, I'm kind of cutting out an extra step. Instead of drawing all the dots and then highlighting all the dots, I'm just going to be drawing in the dots when I actually complete the habit. Another thing that I'm going to do is, instead of just having one area where I track when I water my plants, I will actually write each plant individually and track my watering for that plant one at a time. So that also leads me to inform everyone that there's no color in this month's spread, and that might shock a couple people, but you know, I don't know. The color has not been calling me this month, so you just gotta follow your heart and follow what feels right. So now I am making my mental inventory or goal spread for the month. This spread, after making it, I realized that maybe it might be one that I might want to kind of change up a bit more next month. It's very much based off of the mental inventory structure by Ryder Carroll. So if you're looking for a spread layout that captures this mental inventory, this is a really great option. But I think for me, I want to kind of focus it less on the mental inventory, which is looking at how are you spending your energy, and I want to kind of tailor it more to how can I accomplish my goals and what am I doing currently to accomplish my goals. So pretty much I have 4 main headers in the spread: what I am currently working on, what I want to be working on, what I should be working on, and my goals. I did kind of follow this spread for this month and it worked out pretty well, but I think for next month I might cater it a bit more towards specific actionable tasks that I'm doing for my goal and kind of outlining my goal action plan a bit more formally. Okay, we have arrived at the final spread of the monthly setup. This is my project spread. I use this spread to track any type of project, assignment, video that I'm doing during the month. I kind of block off specific types of tasks I need to do for it, And this just helps me kind of have a timeline of what stage all my projects are at, when they need to be started, how are they going to be done by the deadline, and all of that good stuff. So that is going to be the entire plan with me for February. I am so happy that you guys stuck in this long. If you have, thank you so much for watching and joining me. Make sure you give this video a like and subscribe to my channel if you enjoy these type of videos. That is all for February, and I will see you in the next one.